yesterday downtown.
Oh my gosh.
We out at the, actually, so here's
It
the funny
was
story.
something
We would have never
else.
known anything, but I
Let me
had to,
turn the
I'm sorry?
volume off here. Just a second. Make sure that.
Yeah, we're not transmitting it.
Oh, okay, so it does work here. Resume share. Okay, here we go. Okay, great. Okay, let me get this. Okay. Okay. So.
So I had. So just coincidentally, we would have never come downtown. I'm literally one block from the post office. I see it, and then the police car will pull out and then stop me. You're going this way. So I didn't know at the time what was going on. So. Oh, have it. Yeah. Sure. So much. So the interesting thing, so then I decided, okay, I went to the post office all the way on the east side of town over by the mall. And so I thought, okay, come downtown. I was still working downtown for dinner last night. It still had all of the surrounding university. All of this over here was open. So it turns out, was it something from the line? That's hilarious.
Like these are inside.
Dave asked.
And I'm sorry, I misspoke. I was thinking you were David, the guy.
You thought I was David, huh?
And I'm sorry. Yep.
I got it. I think you said you were
Only
talking
me.
about like my email, my long email. I was like, no, he doesn't. That's not true.
I was thinking,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
about the writings that he does.
Yeah, those are good.
Very informative. Yeah, very thankful he does them right.
Archive there too, history of all that stuff.
Sure,
Great.
sure. Yeah.
And I would tell other reporters that call me that you should check out
Right,
his archive.
right.
So that's all the questions.
That's exactly right. He covers everything. Yeah.
Table notes.
Hello.
You have extra copies of stuff.
I do not, but I could probably go down to the office
Cigarettes.
and make some.
Sure, your time.
Okay.
That will be. your
Is that the
time.
way we're gonna
That's the
talk?
focus, right?
I'll tell you what, though, I always bring mine and I don't really need to look at them. Because
Okay.
I just basically,
Still environmental.
One more
Still very
copy, right?
concerned on.
Okay.
all the-
I'll put their agenda real quick.
So we'll do that.
They approved the EDC contract today.
Oh, good.
There was really a lot of, they approved it on a 2 to 0 to 1.
Those reports.
But now there's that $6,000, and we already appropriated those funds, so, and it's in our budget for next year already as well. You work with them? Do you? Okay. There's a concern about road
business, old business.
unvital road, and there's concern about
Expansion.
almost have to go.
Yeah, that's the new old business. We don't know which one it comes, which one it does.
Is it new or is it old?
That's the reality of it. Beat John's actually made a really
That's kind of how we'll do that.
comment about how all
Got a few minutes.
my chair.
Am I sitting too close to the owl? I didn't want to be the owl.
Is Jason on for this?
Jumped in it. She said she was taking it.
I didn't touch, she had responded
She did.
fairly quickly.
So
Just run outside. for
Yes.
Thank you
a
for
minute,
spelling my
and
last
you'll be
name
fine.
correctly.
And then you'll come
Oh.
back.
I have a weird Danish
I'm
name.
Jess. I'm Laura. I just.
And
sent
most
you-
people put an O in
From
there
the
instead of an E on the end.
I just sent
So
you.
thank you.
I know, no.
I'm so
Corporate
sorry.
has been in touch.
I go on the
Oh,
website
they haven't been.
Yeah.
and pull it down
I
from
I thought you
there.
were on an
So-
email from them.
Uh,
We have an
Well,
ad agency that actually
yeah.
should have been in touch with you already, that's gonna take a whole page.
Okay.
And they've also talked to someone in your office because they're gonna do an electronic advertisement as well. Someone in your office is talking with my company.
Just, it could be Erin and she's out this week, so I'll double check. So
Would
as long as I know intent, then I'm gonna leave you alone and I'll get with her on Monday.
I know that they're taking a full page, and I know that they're going to participate in some email blast you guys are going to do.
Okay.
That,
Okay.
you know.
That's not in my, okay.
Let's
I,
be a giveaway. Let's be a contest.
Yeah, so.
It
it's a-
is.
It's a contest
That's
for
what they do.
future. So, yeah,
Someone-
probably with Erin. And
Okay.
then, like I said, she's out. I'll get
And
with
I'm
her,
just gonna
but
keep
then
that
ignore my email today.
Okay, no
I had
trouble.
put you in kind of as a wish
Okay,
list
thanks.
already
Okay.
kind of for layout of a full page.
Yeah,
just because
yeah,
of the
because we're
last time.
going to, they're
Okay.
going, I'm almost
Well, then
100%
there's
sure.
plenty of time for the artwork, which is in October.
I'm gonna see if I can find the email real quick and see.
I'll do a business.
It's going fine.
Huh? Is it working?
It's working fine. It's 11:59.
Okay.
I don't know what
We can stall, or should we do a countdown? Maybe you should just do a countdown.
countdown.
Let's do your announcer voice.
15, 14.
So just for those of you that want to know about announcer voice, I'm actually calling the women's soccer JV game today. So
That's
it's
cool.
For North? Bloomington North versus Bishop Chatard. So
Colors on that.
Oh,
here,
Chatard.
this radio voice.
Hello there.
then
Soothing
come out, you
tone.
can really get- Yeah, the soothing tones.
And
Everybody must have been
what
loud,
are
right?
you doing? I mean,
Huh?
what is it again? The women's what?
It's the women's soccer, Bloomington North versus Bishop Chatard.
What time does it start?
6 o'clock, are you coming?
Oh, God, I might.
I'll call you. I'll do a shout out. And now in the house.
Marsha. I like that.
Like it?
Whoa,
Okay.
that sounds good.
I see a
I
future
may
in
have to
voiceover
come.
work.
Yeah.
Or
Marcia, you'll need some walk.
podcast.
That's right.
ebook readings. The
You
future's bright
name
for
it,
you.
you name it, man.
Do they do a first kick in soccer, like they do first pitch, if they supposed to go out there and kick one in the goal, start?
Let's
Oh,
try that.
there's an
Let's try that.
idea.
I hadn't thought about that. Hadn't thought about that. So we'll see. Maybe, we're spitballing here. All right, 12:01, I stalled long enough. Let's go ahead and get this meeting started if possible. So this is number one, call to order. So first item on our agenda is the review and approval of the minutes from our June the 24th meeting. Give you just a moment to look through those if you have not already. And any questions or corrections or comments? Pete, do we spell your name right?
I want to take this opportunity to thank Marcia for spelling my weird Danish last name correctly.
Awesome, we like it.
So,
Okay.
Kak,
I'd also like to make a note that Tony Satelli's name was never spelled correctly, but mine was spelled correctly on the first go.
Oh,
Thank
very
you.
good. We're 2 for 2. This is the important.
And when
stuff.
you put that in the minutes, please misspell Tony Satelli's name
That's right.
that I've mentioned it verbally.
Okay, he'll probably love that. But he won't be surprised. We need another chair. Okay, any other comments, remembrances, corrections on the minutes?
I'll motion to ratify the minutes.
All right, seeing in here, no, we have a motion to approve the minutes. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second. Kirby Brown. And then, that being said, if there are no other comments, Marcia, could you move us to a roll call vote, please?
Michael,
Yes.
Kirby,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Peter.
Yes.
And then, so next item on our agenda is a review of the financial statement. I'll run through the tax collection, tax receipts, and then also spend time on the August financial statement, which is our most current one. But if there are other questions for the 2 months prior, just let me know. We can certainly walk through those. As you can see, tax collections are up substantially. And I think actually was, if you look at 2022 versus what it is in 2019, you could see that the summer months for June, July, and August versus 2019 are up substantially in every month. So we are on pace to have our biggest tax collection year on record. Some of that has been due to the rebound in demand. And I think all hoteliers who are currently either cleaning rooms or making beds or working the front desk certainly understand exactly what that has put a stress on the operations, but the volume and the demand has certainly returned with what they call revenge travel this year. Is how that's being termed. So, but that being the case, the fall seems to be following a similar pattern, and we'll see what the August business was when we get those September collections a couple of months from now. But that being the case, we collected $356,232.10 for in August, and that was related to July business. So prior to move in and prior to the start of school, that's what we're seeing. I'm going to shift over to the general fund for August and talk a little bit about each of those buckets. So as you can see, that $356,000 that's represented that came in the month gives us a current fund balance of 1.8 million. A little over that, 1.814 in the general fund year to date, and then gives us $211,974 in the current capital improvement fund balance. And then for our debt fund, we have $414,000 in that fund at this point. So we do have claims against all, I think against the debt fund and the general fund today, but we do have sufficient funds to cover all of those claims. Any questions on the financials or any of the financial statements? Seeing or hearing none, is there a motion to approve the financials as they're presented?
So moved.
Is there a second?
One second.
Motion in a second. Marcia, could you move us to a roll call vote, please?
Michael,
Yes.
Kirby,
Yes.
David,
Yes, ma'am.
Peter.
Yes.
All right. Next on our agenda is the Visit Bloomington report. Mike? Take us away, sir.
Thank you. I want to start off by thanking Kirby Brown, who has been our board president, and Mike so rudely stole him for the commission a few weeks ago.
I don't know how much he paid you to get rid of me, but I would love to know the true negotiations of this.
No, again, thank you, Kirby, and congratulations on being appointed to this board. We actually the board recruited Sean Hanlon to join our board, which is great because we need good people, and so we'll continue to do that. But things are going well. Visit Bloomington, 31 conference leads generated for new events through August. We're already ahead of last year, obviously, but 36, we did 36 in 2019, so we're on pace to beat that. Sean Ballard is doing a great job, and more with Laura's help, but recent groups he's been talking to: Church of God Convention for 23 with 165 room nights. Just put in a bid for the Indiana Tourism Association for 2024 with 200 room nights, both possibility for this building and the Memorial Union. Also Fraternal Conference for 2025 with 300 room nights we're working on. But recent sales activity since the last time we met was he was at ISAE in Indy, Connect Specialty in Detroit, the Professional Fraternity Association in Kalamazoo the week before last, and we've still got upcoming for this year small market meetings in Wichita and MPI Great Lakes and Lake Geneva. And it is our goal to put as much demand pressure on this building as possible. And we love it, and we will keep doing it. So sports wise, Pete, 20 leads year to date for new sporting events. Recent activities include Connect Sports in Detroit. He just unfortunately came home from sports in Savannah sick. I talked to him last night. He did make it home. Have you talked to him today, Laura? I have not. He's not feeling well at all. Not COVID, but just that's the first time that's happened. So we feel bad about that. But upcoming USA Softball in Shreveport, US Sports Congress in Richmond. Leisure wise, we're 10 to 15% digital traffic over 2019. Mobile's up 28% over 2019. Again, that was our record year. It's our benchmark. Fall marketing is ongoing. We've had broadcast appearances on radio or TV in Indianapolis, Chicago, Louisville, Cincinnati, and Peoria in the last couple of weeks promoting fall travel, and several digital and print articles that feature Monroe County and Bloomington, stuff all over the world that we've been generating. Got a new graphic designer starting on Thursday. Unfortunately, right when we thought we were going to be fully staffed, our digital content developer has left us for a great opportunity for her. Probably the best writer we've ever had on staff, Alyssa Davis. And as usual, we're dealing with an old building, got some leaky pipes, and we're going to do some stuff to upgrade the security on the front door, but all's well out there.
How old is that building?
What was it?
It opened in December of 87.
87.
25 years old?
30.
35.
No, it opened in December of 87,
Yeah.
the building. Built in 86.
Was anybody around when that happened?
35.
Even Laura wasn't.
I went to the opening.
I
of
remember
it,
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was,
You remember?
that deck was like the.
Yeah, that was
That's
the
already
thing.
It was wonderful.
As I say, it's an amazing building, and it's $1 million asset sitting right there. That it's too bad it's not a mile south on the corner of the bypass.
Yeah.
Because traffic would be incredible in and out of there. But looking forward to the possibility of obviously coming downtown. What, 7-8 years from now?
Any questions for Mike or Mike's team?
It is good to hear that there is demand for this building.
Oh, yeah.
That is just, it really dispels that myth that a new convention center is not needed.
There's demand on the Memorial Union, there's demand on this building, there's demand on, everywhere, every group space in Bloomington. People want to be here. They want to be a college kid.
It's
Just
so
that
important to
simple.
hear these reports when
Yeah.
those folks come back from these conferences. Yeah, those leads are good.
It's nowhere, it's unlike any other place in the state.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments? Thanks, Mike. Felicia.
Okay.
You and your team.
Well,
Tell
and
us
we
about
can
the
talk a little
convention
bit more about that demand also, but first, the art gallery this year, or this month's exhibit is by Stonebelt. They had a 600-person awards event here last Monday, and so each one of these pieces of art were made by a Stonebelt client. They're for sale. And they use this as a fundraiser and to help those clients get some extra income. So my favorite art exhibits. And then also, just so you know, the parking lot, we're using it for Lotus and Wonder Lab this month for bus parking. And so that surface lot back there is very important for a lot of different groups in addition to the convention center. Then also on the leases, they're all kind of teed up to extend to 2024 for the properties to the south. They haven't actually, 2 have signed, 3 are still pending, but the deadline's October 1st. So that's good. You know, at least got that rental income coming in. It nets about $120,000 a year. And then so Jean is our sales manager, and so she had some updates with convention center sales, but yes, things are looking up and we're pretty excited about that. Now it's kind of managing and that demand and juggling those groups who, this is our date.
That's right.
As you know what that means,
Yep.
right? And so.
It's starting to feel
Take it away,
like,
Jean.
like 2019 again.
Yeah.
So, yeah, after being, feels just like it's been around that way. I have a little recap that just shows some year-to-date numbers and also some conference information, because that is what is really happening. But I wanted to start by saying that I am really appreciating working with Sean Ballard, and the amount of travel that he's doing results in a tremendous amount of leads for me. I was looking at some of them that had come through fairly recently, this morning, in fact, and out of the 15 that I was recapping, 6 of them we were not able to, because we were either already booked for a multiple day event with a couple hundred people, or we're just physically too small for the amount of space that they want. And some of those are people who have called me, for the past couple of years, and we still are not in a place where we can accommodate them. But we have gotten some of the bids, and then we've got 4 of them still out that Mike just kind of recapped about recent leads that Sean has come up with. But he is really responsive and makes everything work really smoothly for me. I think we make a tag team, I think.
So
in
Jean,
my-
I'm sorry, that was 6 events that were too small?
Yeah, just out of the ones that I was recapping that were
Okay.
fairly recent.
Thank you.
I got a quick question, Mike. I don't know why we haven't talked about this before. I don't remember ever asking this question. All the ones that we're turning away, we've been working on the turn down reports for a while. Do we have a breakdown of which ones touch the weekdays? We do have that
We
broken
do,
down.
we do.
Okay,
We got it all. We got a database full of all the details
Okay.
and
Start
agendas
dates,
too.
end dates, how many people.
okay, because I think
How
when
much
we're
square
reporting that
footage.
out to what you were saying earlier, it's good to hear that there's this demand. People outside this room, outside the industry, obviously aren't comprehending what that demand actually looks like. And I understand there's concern with everything that's happened, but the more we can put in front of their face that these, and I know Mike talked about it a long time, you guys probably have in this room, getting that weekday fill, because the weekends kind of take care of themselves for the most part here, especially hotel wise.
Yeah.
But getting that weekday fill is what we're looking at. Knowing that we have that, I want to make sure that that is something that we're just pumping out there to the key decision makers as much as possible. So,
Well, and there's over 800 professional associations in the state of Indiana from every imaginable walk of a profession you could conceive of. And I think after everybody's been waiting and has been careful and has been meeting virtually and in smaller groups and so on, now it's time. And people are getting back together, and even if there's a hybrid component now, which is sometimes the case, but these groups move around the state,
Right.
so that they can accommodate all of their members in a 2 or 3 year period. And so we're feeling it.
Right.
And this is a fun place to visit. So a lot of people.
That's a great point too. As well as a monthly, we talked about that a lot. The rotational ones that they
Yeah.
have to rotate by their statutes,
Yep.
right? So the demand isn't, it's gonna be this year, then it's gonna be gone. Some of these, they're mandated to go back around. We're a natural spot, so it's just laid in there. So whoever needs to hear that message over and over and over again, that's what we gotta get out there.
I would be happy to accommodate everybody that wanted to hear from this state, but we also have Midwestern region groups and Great
Right.
Lakes region groups and so on. Anyway, in my year-to-date review, I looked at January 1 through the end of August, just to get a nice clean cutoff at the end of the month. And I always do a comparison of this year's actuals to the same time frame last year. So you're looking at actual apples to apples. So our sales were up vastly, as you can see, from 2021. And then I also looked at total sales for the month of September so far, up to 920, which of course is yesterday's this year and last year. And they're almost dead even, about 130,000 last year and then again this year. So starting last year in fall is when we really started picking back up. Room rental way up over last year, of course, and then attendance more than double. And events, not that much more. If you look at last year's 236, that had 51 of those were the vaccine clinic days that they were in the building. So if you take those out, then we're up considerably. And conferences are really where it's at. Those are the ones that are meaningful to book because they're 3 or 4 days in a row. Sometimes there's a setup day and then the 3 days of the event itself. And two of the 2022 conferences, that dotted line represents what's already happened and then, or since our last meeting anyway, and then going forward, what I have on deck. And so we had a new one in that last group in the first half of 2022 on this report, which was the hostage crisis negotiators. And then the Midwest chapter of the Medical Library Association will be with us next month. I think this is their 4th attempt since 2020. So we've been working with this group since 2019 and they still haven't been. So we're really looking forward to that one. Brand new group altogether. And then for 2023, this first group, Indiana AFG, is new in April. And then the Indiana Clay Conference in October is a new one. That proposal is still out. Any specific questions?
I'll just say Jean is so detailed and she has so much information and she's got documented notes from these groups and, you know, juggling all of these groups and people moving dates is not for the faint of heart. And there's some ownership there and trying to fill in, but so she's so organized and diligent and just perfect for this role. And so we appreciate you, Jean.
That the data, well, the database that we use too is Excel based, and so it's second nature to me. And I keep this plain old notebook by the phone. And when somebody calls, I just make notes about what they're telling me. And then I've gone back to that book so many times in the last 5 years and said, oh yeah, that was the 300. I'm like, well, it's grown now. You know, I mean, all these little bits of detail that are in there, and I can't believe that simple old fashioned way it works like it does, but yeah.
But we've got, I mean, we've been able to keep all of our key staff people and, you know, we were talking about that at the budget meeting. It's invaluable right now as groups are like coming back and we know about their event, maybe sometimes more than a new staff person at their company does. Anyway, it's all
So
good.
for
All good.
David and Kirby, we did prioritize being able to maintain our current staff and the salaries wrapped around that. That was a decision this body made to continue to fund that rather than cut back drastically like some other organizations and other counties did. Because we felt that once the business rebounded, it would certainly give us a competitive edge to come back stronger. And that's certainly shown to be the case.
We had an Indiana group in here last week for, and they're coming around on a 2-day event, 250 people, all new, different groups, 250 one day, then another 250 the next day. And there were 3 people on this tour. We haven't had them here since 2017, and these were all new people, including the new president of the company. And we all, just like Talisha said, we were able to fill in blanks for them. It was very fun.
That's awesome.
It was a cool evening.
Peter, you had something?
Yeah, so I'm really interested in these events that were canceled because the space is too small or we were already booked.
Yeah.
I know a fiscal impact had been done a little bit ago, and my question is, are those 6 events included in the fiscal impact that was done a little bit ago, or are these brand new? and
They're not
so-
brand new. There is overlap. These are just proposals that are requests for proposals that came to me through Sean and Visit Bloomington. There's more lost, but it's not. So I know that Mike has already accounted for those.
And I'm happy to give you an updated fiscal impact, maybe some more detail on that. I haven't done that lately. Report right here, but I'm not using it today.
Yes, yes. The reason I ask is because of your point, that I have the deputy mayor picked up some of these talking points. I know I and my colleagues on the county council also picked up some of these talking points about lost business. And so I think it's important to have those numbers out there, but I understand we don't need to have that at today's meeting per se.
I'll update you all with the latest.
Great. Any other questions for Jean or Talisha or John? The building holding up okay?
As we're sitting here.
Tell me these rooms hold up, okay, Trisha?
That's the other question, right?
Maintenance is never done.
Maintenance is never done.
It's never done.
How old is this building?
It's 100 years old next year.
100 years old next year.
Yeah, it was built in 1923.
It was fascinating when you came before the council to talk about your budgets, how many council members recalled working here when this was a car dealership.
Yeah. And we're, and just for our hotel staff members, a lot of them have custodial and housekeeping experience. So
Right,
for those that
exactly.
are struggling, I thought that I took note. I'm like, oh, Marty cleaned floors.
Cheryl Munson bought her first car from this building.
Yeah, so it
We
is
get
fun.
people all the
I
time
do,
that pop in, and we had some relatives of the Graham family bring some things by, and it's
Really
it's got a whole history of the community.
It's
so,
been well retrofitted
yes.
to fit the need, but certainly with any retrofit, it's not ideal. And has its own challenges. in the
Yes.
old
Like that
building.
show, Mother of Wisdom.
Having something that
Yes.
mine's not quite 100, but my building's from 1932, and I do know the nature of what those pipes and things and electric and things, that there's some significant challenges to retrofit an old building. All right, any other questions or comments for DVI? Okay, we're moving right along. Let's spend a little money. What do you think? We're in claims approval. So our first claim before us today is for Visit Bloomington. These are fourth quarter operating funds. This is their normal quarterly installment that they use for their overall budget. And that's in the amount of $426,244.75. Questions or comments about this claim?
Motion to approve.
Yeah, I was about to go there.
So motion.
Yes, right now.
I motion.
Motion, we do have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Marcia, could you move us to a roll call vote on this claim?
I can do that.
I was hoping you'd say that.
Mike,
Yes.
Kirby,
Yep.
David,
Yes.
Peter.
Yes.
Okay, our next one. What goes here?
That's all right. You don't-
The second claim before us today is for Marcia Roach. Third quarter professional fees for this body and all the record keeping. That's $147.50. Any questions or comments on this claim?
I'll make a motion to approve this claim.
Awesome. Motion and a second. Marcia, could you move us to a roll call vote, please?
Mike,
Yes.
Kirby.
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Peter.
Yes.
Okay, the next one is for Convention Center Services for DBI. This is their fourth quarter operating fund in the amount of $86,802. Is there any questions or comments on this claim?
I'll motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Marcia, would you move us to a roll call vote?
Mike,
Yes.
Kirby. David,
Yes.
Peter.
Yes.
The next one is for the loan payments for that we have that we carry for the renovation that was done on this building and the surrounding properties that were purchased for convention center expansion. The quarterly claim on this is $159,000. Any question or comment on this claim? Seeing and hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, is there a second? Yes, that'll actually come from the debt fund, so it's coming from this. Yep, absolutely. Okay, Marcia, would you move us to a roll call vote?
Sure will. Mike,
Yes.
Kirby,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Peter.
Yes.
Okay, our last claim we have on that's been reported to us is for room rental incentives. This will come out of the general fund. And it's in the amount of $4,296. This is for incentives given to groups that book into this facility, and those meet several different criterias, including first-time groups, historically slower periods that are for the lodging industry, the number of overnight rooms being over 100 rooms, the use of more than one hotel, generating no less than $10,000 in economic impact. So all of those are criteria, and the more criteria that we hit, the higher the incentive that we pay back for that, because those are all impactful for the community. So that total comes to $4,296. That is for 4 groups. Do, as a matter of fact, so that's with that. It should be in the packet, but I can show you those right there. Or I could read those off. That might just even helpful, right? It's for the Association of Indiana Counties, the Alliance of Indiana Rural Water, Secret Lead Distribution, which is one I've got to find out a little more about. What's
The record label secretly Canadian.
Ah,
Record label.
how about that?
For
I'm sitting there thinking, look at that, it
Yeah.
says labels on it. You guys are all with it, and I'm not so much.
Oh, I know. 30.
Indiana Hostage Crisis Negotiators, so all of those were ones that Joan talked about. Any other questions?
Yeah, there we go.
This is.
Right, so this would be, kind of the number of attendees. So what we're talking.
Almost as good.
What is that?
We were a rowdy bunch. Oh, boy. That was exciting. Yeah, boy.
Get those two groups together.
Yeah, fiscal policy and music.
Interesting names.
So
too, isn't it?
Oh, really?
Reliable.
No problem with a little.
Yeah.
To make a lot. Good question. Any other questions on that claim? Okay. All right, is there a motion to approve the claim?
Make a motion to approve the claim.
Is there a second? Marcia, would you move us to a roll call vote, please?
Mike,
Yes.
Kirby,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Peter.
Yes.
Passes. That's all the claims we have before us today. Any new business? I guess I probably should start with some. We did go before the county council with our proposed budget, which outlined a 5% increase in operating funds going to both Visit Bloomington and to DBI for Convention Center Management. Those were both approved. We also had made an increase in the commissioner's expense line item to be able to be flexible and respond to anything that could come up next year, as it could go a lot of different ways. The county council approved that as well. So I was happy to have that go through. It's good to sit with that body and talk through that. They always ask very insightful questions. And we were able to talk a little bit about how the non-movement on the convention center expansion puts a hold on a lot of things we're doing. And they were receptive to that, asked very good questions wrapped around that. I think received that all very well. So, yes, sir.
And just as a reminder, we will have our public hearing on all of the budgets, those 5 nights that we heard, and you pushed one of them, on the 4th at 5:30. Then the first reading of all those budgets will be that next week on the 11th. And then we will finally adopt everything on the 18th at 5:30. And all those agendas, Zoom links, and everything you need to know are on the Monroe County website. So we'll have all of your budgets adopted by the end of October. Great.
The only other new business I have, and I realized as I got into this, probably the better thing to have done would have been to introduce Kirby. Mike did that. But Kirby joined this body and Sean Hanlon rotated off. So it's good to have Kirby here. Kirby's been a contributing and very involved member of the hospitality community for many, many years. So it brings a good amount of experience to the table. Indianapolis, Muncie, and then here in Bloomington for the last 8 years. 8 years.
And when we read through your materials at the county council, when we approved your appointment, all 7 members were really impressed by everything. And we're always impressed by the folks that join this body, but we're really happy that you joined us.
I appreciate that. Hopefully not disappoint anybody. I appreciate the confidence you guys have in me to share and help and try to do anything I can to help move along. So appreciate it very much.
Any other new business for this group?
There will be a forthcoming meeting with the council, that is to say, 2 of our members and the commissioners, to discuss the future of the new convention center. They are having some issues finding times on people's calendars. So that's why I don't have a date and a time right now, but that should be resolved this week, hopefully. But that is a forthcoming meeting. I know that you all be interested in attending.
You said the word new convention center.
I don't want to be confused. There's not a discussion to build a new convention center, is there?
That's a great point. I should say the conversation to look into maybe an expansion is what's being talked about now. And so there'll be some agenda items on that table. And I don't know what those are at this point. I could make some educated guesses, but I haven't seen it, so I'm hesitant to do that.
Well, please let those that are at the table know if they need any information from us. We'd be more than happy to share that.
Excellent.
Any other new business?
I just wanted to ask the question based upon what I saw in the news as a new person to Bloomington, with the city of Bloomington offering to purchase the convention center, and having heard nothing further since then, and I have no idea what progress has been made on that subject. I had thought if something was to begin moving in that direction, would this body need to meet more often in that time frame, an undetermined amount of time, as opposed to just quarterly, to be able to discuss, make decisions, participate in something that could take off rather
Right.
quickly.
Right. I think that would make perfect sense for Sydney. Once we get some, hopefully some movement on that, and if that was the case, certainly we could meet. We're not constrained to meet every quarterly. We just need to meet at least quarterly so that we can disperse funds and go through financials. But we can certainly meet more often than that. So good question. Any other new business? Old business? Anything else we just want to be a little bit more? No? So now, Mike, I know at one point, and this is more like new business, but you had mentioned the possibility of having a jobs board or hospitality jobs board hosted on the Visit Bloomington site. Do you have any
It's
update on
coming.
that?
Sorry about that. I should have updated on that. It's coming. We've got our web developer is doing the coding for it now.
Right.
We're just kind of waiting for them. They're like anybody else. They're behind. They can't. We've had a job ticketed for 2 weeks, so it's coming.
Okay.
And I was gonna wait. I have a couple of dates on hold here at the convention center for a job fair, but I kind of wanted to wait to get that going and see what type of participation there was. Because all of a sudden to staff 2 days of a job fair and figure that out and who's participating. So I'll reevaluate and ask everybody again if they really want to do that and what their participation is. Because again, the last thing I want to do is ask a bunch of hotels and restaurants to come and do that if they don't have anybody to do that.
Right.
But certainly we will do it if people want us to do it. Okay. So you'll get an email from me the moment that job is ready to go with how to do it, and everybody will just be able to log in and put their own jobs in, and we'll just monitor it. If anybody responds, I'll go directly to the organization that put it in there and that stuff.
Great. Thank you. All right. If there are no other mentions from old business or new business, public comment, any public comment? They're online or in the room. Okay. 12:41. You have 19 minutes of your life back.
Wow, how did we do that?
This meeting is adjourned. Thank you. Because I realized that it's